going on, everybody? You are live with Osiris. Welcome to the Author's Lounge. The world is filled with storytellers, and I, along with my guests, are here today in the Author's Lounge to help educate and inspire the young generation of writers and creators. Now, my guests are professionals in publishing, writers from a wide range of formats, and successful entertainers. They will provide beneficial advice on what to do and what not to do on your path to success. So, without further ado, I'll present to you our next guest. Let's go.
I have a wonderful guest on the show, and I met this individual through a close friend of mine, Mr. Jose Pajado Jr. And our guest today, he is a visionary filmmaker, a director, a DP, and an educator, and just overall, is a solid human being. He has a large repertoire of a body of work ranging from documentaries. Also, he does music videos. He's shot commercials. He is no stranger behind the camera. And so, man, I can continue with your resume, but I just want to hop right into it. So without further ado, I'll present to you the wonderful Mr. Gil Rios. What's up, my man?
Yeah. I appreciate the intro, man. That was dope.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, I appreciate you, bro.
I feel
I appreciate
welcome.
you coming. Yes, sir. Hey, Jose, man, appreciate you with getting this
That's
one.
my brother right there, man. Shout out to Jose Pachado.
Jose Pachado Jr. It's been a long time coming. And I forgot to mention too, that now correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just trying to commit to memory. But your production company, Gil Rios Productions, is that right, LLC?
Yes, Gil Rios
Okay.
Production. Yeah.
Okay, no, perfect. I wanted to shout that out, that he has his own production company, Gil Rios Productions LLC. So
That's right. Yeah.
my man is doing his thing, and I know you did you've been behind this as well. You have your own show. So what is where should I get started, man? There's a lot I want to talk about. Okay, let's first start with how you even got to the point where you wanted to become somebody that was in the filmmaking business. And I know you spoke about this on a previous interview, how you started out as an exterminator for 15 years but you realized you weren't too happy and you knew that you had a love for filmmaking. So I definitely want to expand upon that. So I guess at what point during your time as an exterminator, right, did you realize that, man, I'm not happy, but I am making a lot of money, but I'm just not happy?
So that's a good question. I was doing exterminating for, like you said, 15 plus years, and it just came to a point where Groundhog Day, when, Bill Murray and
Yep.
he's reliving the same day over and over and over again. That's what I felt like. I felt like I was reliving the same exact day. And it just became so repetitive, and it wasn't feeding my spirit. And the universe was telling me, you're meant to do something else. This is not it. And, I was filming while I was still being an exterminator. I was an award winner while I was still exterminating. I was getting clients while I was still working. I had my vendor's license while I was working, but the fear is what kept me working. I was so afraid that if I quit my job, how I'm going to pay my rent, how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to, support my family. And it was just the fear that kept me there. And one day I just woke up and I just said, today's the day. I can no longer do this. And in 2020, April 9th, 2020 at 10:09 a.m., I wrote my letter of resignation, and I told my company, after 15 years, I can no longer be here. My destiny lies somewhere else.
Man, dude, that's heavy. That's heavy. And did you have a family at that time as well?
Yes.
Or was it just you?
Yeah, no, I was with my wife and my daughter.
Wow. And that's not easy. That's not an easy move, but that shows you bet on yourself. Now, it had to be some sort of a gut feeling that you felt that drove you to the point of saying, I, I, I know this is going to sound crazy, and then I'm going to leave a position where I'm qualified, where I'm getting paid a lot of money for it, where I have health care, but I'm deciding to say, you know what? And I don't want to verbalize it and saying like throw it all away because that would give it a negative connotation because I don't believe it was a negative thing. But
Mm-hmm.
like the idea of saying, I'm just going to say, you know what? Let's put all that away and let's just tackle this. Like how how afraid were you, if you were afraid at all? How afraid were you? And like, what was your state of mind when you came to the conclusion after writing it and you gave it that this is happening for real?
Man, I was terrified because I didn't know if it was gonna work.
Yeah.
I was so scared. I was like, man, what did I just do? You know what I mean? So once I did that, but the thing was, I made a calculated risk because I was already a teacher with Lincoln Center. I was a teaching artist for Lincoln Center. And for people who don't know what Lincoln Center is one of the most iconic non-for-profit organizations like on the planet. So I was already a teaching artist for Lincoln Center. I was an award winner. So I had a little underground, I had an underground buzz. And I just said, you know what? The only thing that's holding me back is just I'm afraid. And as soon as I quit, people from Houston were coming to New York. And then I was going to Houston and then Miami and then Baltimore. And then things just started opening up. And when I put all my energy into film, I was just, people just embraced me. And I was just able to slowly gain momentum.
The reason why I was asking about that in particular, about just like what was the level of fear, is because I'm going through a similar process right now, right?
On
With, you would imagine, right, with being in the military, that there comes a sense of security with that, much like the position you were in as an exterminator. There's like a great deal of a sense of security, and um, having the idea of wanting to leave could be really intimidating. You know, you have these thoughts and these ideas of, man, like, but what if I did something else that I really love to do? And what's crazy about like with this situation, just with any person who has a vision, is like it's just a vision. You know, in your case, you were putting the work in while simultaneously doing your work as an exterminator. So I
Yes.
believe you did it in such a strategic way that it wasn't just this foregone conclusion that you would be successful, which that likely still would have been the case even if you didn't have a body of work prior. But the fact that you were already establishing yourself while also doing your thing as an exterminator, it just built on that confidence, man. So, man, my hat's off to you. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of bravery, man. And quite honestly, man, it just takes a lot of guts to say, I'm going to do this. My family, we may not eat. We may not be able to sleep in this home next week. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm going to make sure that this works because I'm in survival mode. And a lot of people, when they don't have a plan B, they are in survival mode. And that's when things click, you know? And so, man, kudos to you. Much respect to the hustle and to the grind that you have been doing for such a long time, and it's
Thank you.
gotten you to a point to where you're respected in the game as a creative, as a filmmaker, as a director. And now I would love to talk about your work as a director, man. And that's the part where at the beginning I was like, man, I don't even know where to start because you have such an extensive bio in the body of work that you've done, whereas whether it's documentaries or commercials or music videos, let's start with what you started with. And with your first, I guess, your introduction as a filmmaker, was it with a documentary or was it with the music video? Or maybe it
Um,
was commercials.
I think it was with a documentary I did.
Okay.
What happened was I used to be with a comedy crew
Yeah.
and me and my friends, we would do comedy sketches, and it was through Manhattan Neighborhood Network that we would air our stuff. But we didn't have a filmmaker. So what happened was we tried to hire people, but it was too expensive. And then, so I just bought a camera and I said, hey, I have a camera. Now we can film our stuff. We don't have to worry about paying people. So I fell in love with that process of filming. That's when it hit me. I love filming the crew. So while I was in comedy sketches and filming my friends, I fell in love with that process and it just stuck with me. And then eventually, you know, the comedy crew kind of faded away. Everybody kind of like went their separate ways, but I kept that passion and I kept on exterminating and I kept that passion. So to answer your previous question, I was doing it for a long time and I had to separate myself from the first part of my day to the second part of my day because you're only working 8 hours. What are you doing with the other 8? You know what I mean? So I was putting in the work, whether it was gaining knowledge of film, doing film, or editing film. I was doing something with those other 8 hours. And I did that for years and I built up my resume. And and the other thing I want to get to is maybe we could get onto it now or later, but networking and relationships. That was the key. That was the foundation for me. Networking and relationships. To me, that was the major foundation. And I was building that for years before I quit my job. So I wanted to make sure my foundation was solid. And a lot of people make that mistake. They don't have too many relationships. They don't have too much networking. And and a lot of people aren't good at public speaking or approaching complete strangers. If you want to get into this game, you got to be able to approach people. You can't be scared to approach anyone. And that's one thing that a lot of people are afraid of. They're scared to approach complete strangers. Me, I don't care. Like I'll approach anyone. I was at Gracie Mansion, filming the mayor of New York City at one of their events. And I was walking around because we had some downtime. And I was just approaching people. And I approached this guy and I was like, hey man, this is a dope event, right? Wow, this is crazy. I was like, yeah, oh my God, this is really a good event. I was like, oh man, so what's your name? What do you do? And he was like, oh, my name is this, that, and the third. And you know, what do you do? Oh, I'm a filmmaker, blah, blah, blah. Then he stops me and then he says, how do you do that? And I go, how do you do what? How did you just approach me like that? You don't even know me. Like, how did you get the courage to do that? And I was like, I don't know. It's just, I've been doing it for years. So he couldn't understand. But the thing is, that's just a part of my survival. Because if I don't film, I don't eat. If I don't film, I can't pay my rent. If I'm not teaching, I can't do anything. So it's a 24-hour cycle. Even after I'm done filming, I'm still, you know, your brain is always like, okay, the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. You know, because the rent comes every month. So that's where a lot of people get scared, because the major part is paying your rent, your home, your security. But if you put your faith in your skill and you're truly good at what you do, you're going to be okay. But you gotta make a calculated risk. You can't just jump out the window. And what was the second part of your question?
Dude, I don't even know. Like, bro, like that, I got lost in your words, because it's hitting deep, because I'm at a crossroads, and I decided to get to this point. I actually consciously said I'm out. most people who join the service, they do 20 years, they get that retirement check and maybe a medical retirement check, and then they coast, and live their life how they live it. I've only been in 11 years, and I have a full family, 3 special needs kids, my wife who survived cancer and still needs treatment. And you're talking about like a risk, like you going out knowing that one, we are in Washington currently, Washington State, and decided to relocate back to SoCal. And where her side of the family is at, my side, they're kind of sprinkled throughout the quite literally the world. And but her immediate family is in SoCal, and that's where I consider home as well, is California, specifically in Southern California. But you talk about like making a risk, it's like, man, but your words are hitting real deep, because it's making me see that all you got to do is really just really believe in the vision, believe in yourself, and know that you got to pay, to stay. you
You
gotta
gotta
you
pay to
gotta
stay.
eat, you gotta survive, man. and
Yeah.
and
So the thing is, these are things to think about, right? Because you got
mhm,
special needs kids, you got your wife, you got you
mhm,
got a lot going on. So another thing is, you got to put yourself out there. You cannot
mhm,
be afraid to put yourself out there.
right.
You got to be vulnerable. You got to be out there, and also like, for example, like Patreon. A lot of people are doing Patreon. They're
Mhm,
subscribing to things.
mhm,
So if, if you're doing this show and you're starting to get exclusive people, you're starting to get exclusive interviews, put it
mhm,
on Patreon, and people can subscribe. $5 a month, like $10 a month times 5,000 people
mhm,
subscribing. That's enough for you, the rent. Your wife needs chemo, no problem. Your kids, they
yeah.
want to go to a special school, no problem. It's
Mm,
see, envision the goal and obtain it. And another thing is, before we start the other questions,
yeah.
a lot of people think that when they do something, everyone's going to say no.
Mhm,
Oh, they're not going to do that. They're going to say no. My philosophy is, I'd rather try and hear
mhm,
the word no than think someone's going to say no. Because what if they say
mhm,
yes?
right.
I don't want to be, dude, I don't want to be 65 years old, sitting in the back of some diner, sipping coffee and saying, man, what if I did film? What if I did this? What if I took a chance? What if I tried this? What if I did that? Man, I stayed in exterminating. I retired. Now I'm here in this diner sipping coffee. What if I decided to go with my dreams? I don't want to be that
Mhm,
guy. I can't be that person. I'd
mhm,
rather try. And if I fail, hey, man, at least I tried.
yeah.
At least I tried.
Mhm,
No matter what. If you decide to quit the army and pursue your dream, whether you make it or not, you're making an attempt to do something that you feel is right.
right.
And if if you fail, which I don't think you are, but if you fail, you can always reenlist. You can always get a
Mhm,
job. These these
yeah.
these these things are still there. It's not like
Mhm,
they went somewhere. All the
right.
jobs are gone.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
army's gone. They're like, oh no, you
Yeah.
you can still do these things.
Mhm,
But at some point, you got to take time to do what you want to do.
mhm. Man, I love that's real, man. That's real. And to your credit, when we were speaking about Jose. I was speaking with Jose like about a week ago. I speak with him pretty frequently. Try to keep touch base with him, and he thinks along the same lines as what you're saying as well. Just pretty much, you just gotta go, man. Like when you have a calling, you have to answer that calling, and a lot of people tend to not go with that thought that continuously invades their mind for weeks or for months or for years, and then they wait for a long time. I had described this to my wife. I said, imagine this. Imagine that you are a kid and you go to school from kindergarten until 12th grade. and then you immediately go to college. And now what, you're 25, probably headed to 30, with getting your degree, whether it's a bachelor's or maybe going for a master's or maybe going for a PhD. And now you're going to go work for that job. Um, and you're probably there for 20 years, probably until you retire. Maybe you're 40. Maybe you got to keep going until you're 60. Statistically, most men like live to be like in their 70s, maybe 80s. And then most women tend to live to be in their 80s, maybe 90s. So we're talking, you're spending pretty much 60 to 65 years of your life working and being a part of a systemic routine that will leave you wishing you had done something, and many people live with regrets. And so now you realistically might have 5 or 10 years left, maybe. And that's assuming, God willing, things don't happen. But if it's based on statistics, that's kind of what the timeline is. Now imagine if during that time, maybe you were a 20-year-old or in your 30s and you said, you know what? I'm going to try. I'm just going to go out on my shield. I'm just going to see what happens. And let's see where the road takes me rather than sticking to what the norm is. How about I veer right or veer left? And let's just walk into the unknown, a path that's in the dark fog. It's dark and it's foggy and I can't see anything. But on the other side of it is a bright tunnel. There's a light at the end of that tunnel. And outside of it is a nice open field where you can see the clouds and you can see the sunshine and you can see a beach, and all of a sudden, wow, all because I took a chance. And that seems, it sounds like that's how it was for you, man. And I appreciate the vote of confidence that you have. I believe in myself too, man. And for you, you have been able to collaborate with many people. And you said something that really stuck, which was relationships and networking. And I can't stress how important that is. To me, it always will come down it's going to come down to your work ethic, of course, but it will always come down to who you freaking know. Like that really matters. And I think you have to go about it in such a genuine way that like people can sense when people are being snakes or they just want something. Like, why do you want to befriend this person? Not you, but you know what I mean? Why does this person want to befriend this person? Because they have connections, blah, 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 blah. So it can be a real snake game, but I think if you yourself are genuine, you're going to attract other people who are genuine and they all want to look out for you. Now, for your work, man, for the stuff that you've done with music and with documentaries and with commercials, what, in your opinion, and this is probably a broad answer, but what, in your opinion, has been that one where you said, man, this is going to change my life for like the absolute best? And maybe it's every project that you work on, but I'm curious which project that you like, ooh, no, it's something about this one right here that it hits different.
Man, I have three.
Yeah.
I have three. So one was me on an actual film set,
Mm-hmm.
and my brother Noel Calloway, he
Mm-hmm.
was directing a film, and it was a real film, like professional actors,
Mm-hmm.
director of photography, gaffers. It was in Puerto Rico, which is my native land.
Mm-hmm.
And he hires me and he goes, Gil, I want you to be a part of this experience. And I went on as the second cameraman.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the position I needed to be in because I was able to see everything from the outside in
Mm-hmm.
on how a film set works.
Mm-hmm.
And that gave me so much confidence because I was able to see how the lights were positioned. I got to see the director of photography who was, oh man, Luis Obioha, rest in
Mm-hmm.
peace. He's no longer with us, but
Mm-hmm.
he was a master when it came to director of photography and lighting. And I gained so much from that experience. So that's my first experience
Mm-hmm.
that I think will change my life because I gained so much knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and I had such an advantage going forward. So the other situation was filming for PMD from EPMD, the legendary group EPMD.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing. Filming someone that I grew up listening to,
Yeah.
and now I'm directing his videos.
Mm-hmm.
And not only directing them, but thriving.
Mm-hmm.
2 music videos I've done for him have gone over 1 million plus
That's
views.
awesome, man.
over 1 million plus. So to me, those were major accolades.
Mhm.
And the third one, I would have to say, was the most recent one when I filmed the RZA from Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yes, sir.
was just to be the director of photography and, set up those cameras and set up the lights and
Mhm.
mic them up and just being the head of that
Yeah.
department and filming a legend, one of the
Mhm.
one of the greatest producers in hip hop history of our
Yep.
time.
Mhm.
And it was just an honor just to be in the room working. And my friend Inf, I don't know, maybe later on we can go into how I actually got into that situation, but
Yeah.
um, shout out to Inf, who was the director, and he
Mhm.
he was the one that hired me for that.
Yeah.
And right now we're sitting at almost 30,000 views, and it's been like 3 weeks.
Mhm. That's
And this is
awesome.
no promotion, no Google ads, no YouTube ads, nothing. This is just
Mhm.
straight, just raw talent and just people
Yeah.
seeing it. Over 300 comments and just,
Mhm.
it's just so amazing accolade.
Yeah. Man, that is it's one heck of a story, man. Just first of all, shout out to the Wu-Tang, man. Some
Shout out to the
good,
city, baby.
yes,
Shout out to
sir.
Wu-Tang's for the
Bro,
kids. Wu-Tang's for the children.
man, that's some solid memories with that, man, and just yeah, and your story and how you were introduced to the game and people just looking out for you, and you are really living a dream that is not it's not hard to make come a reality if you're putting in the work. It's just a matter of time. That phrase of, hey, as long as you keep going, is only a matter of time. Some people are really impatient, but how important is it to be patient but also persistent? Because some people say patience is a virtue, and it's kind of got this connotation of, well, as long as you wait for it, you'll get it. But like, how important is it really to be both patient but also persistent in that patience?
Oh man, I'm a very impatient person. My wife can tell you I'm
Yeah.
super impatient, but I know that I need to be patient in order to get to where I want to go. And that's
Hmm.
like the fine line because you want to get there faster, but you got to crawl before you can walk.
Right.
And then if you want to, and then you got to walk before you can run,
Hmm.
right? So
Yes, sir.
I'm a very impatient, but I knew that I needed to take the time to learn
Hmm.
film, and doing the knowledge in your craft is key.
Yeah.
It's key. I studied Spike Lee. I've watched Spike Lee interviews, Quentin Tarantino interviews. I've
Hmm.
seen Quentin Tarantino films. I will never see a film the same. Once you
Hmm.
learn film, you will never see a movie the
Yep.
same. You're thinking about, wow, how did they block the scene? How did they
Hmm.
position the actors? How did they do this? Oh my God, what did they, oh man. So you look at everything differently and you're constantly, me in general, I'm always constantly thinking of how can I make this better? How can I make this interview better? How can I do this
Hmm.
better? But it takes time to learn these things. I'm
Yeah.
not patient, but I had to be patient,
Hmm.
and doing the knowledge is part of it.
Yeah. Yep, you got those 10,000 hours in, man, and some people will have this idea that
Nah.
going to a film school is a necessity, and I don't think it is. It works for some people, but for me, like, you had mentioned Quentin Tarantino. There's another director who I really, really like is Christopher Nolan, and Christopher Nolan
Oh
is
man, beast.
notorious for writing and directing his own films. And not only that, but he's also notorious and making mentions that he never attended a film school, that you don't have to do it. Tom Cruise, he mentioned that it's important, like with him, how he does film work, he does film study. He'll not only stay on the set, but he'll go to different, he'll either he's with the actors or he's with the production, or he's in the village reviewing it on the monitors and watching it. Is
Yeah.
fully immersed in it, and also watching movies, watching other films. And I agree, once you understand filmmaking, especially as a director, you never look at things the same way again, man. You start to question a lot of how things are done. But I think in particular in this regard, it is especially important to perfect your craft, and that you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars in school to get that. You can spend thousands of hours in free material that is readily accessible to people. I mean, sure, you can, pay to play in certain aspects, but the material is out there. It's kind of like, how do you become a better writer? I think you read books or you read scripts and you find who you really like, and then you maybe emulate their style until you learn your own, unless you have your own style already, and you just kind of go from there. Like musicians do it all the time, writers do it all the time, and filmmakers look at other filmmakers that they respect in the game, like much like you mentioned Spike and Tarantino, who I adore both of them as well. And you just kind of go and you develop your own style, man. But and one thing you also did that is worth noting is you decided to have your own production company under your name and have ownership of your IPs, or if not under your IPs, have ownership of some sort of credit attached to these projects that you worked on. Now, as an independent filmmaker or as an indie person myself, right? I can appreciate anybody who sees a vision of like ownership. I know Tyler Perry, he's really big on on ownership, and people who are coming new into the game really are just so quick to want to just jump straight to fame or jump straight from A to Z without going through the middle. For you, how important is it that you own your work?
It's very important. It's part of my success. It's actually part of my success because when you're filming and you have your own projects, like I had
Mhm.
my tattoo series,
Yeah.
it was called Tattoo Life.
Hmm.
And I interviewed someone called Renee Soto. And come to find out, Renee Soto was a tattoo legend. He's been tattooing for over 30 years. He tatted De La Soul, Redman. He tatted Cypress Hill. He even tatted the legendary Tupac Shakur.
Hmm.
So when I interviewed him and he said those things, that automatically turned my work into value. Because I
Yep.
didn't know he was, I didn't even know he interviewed, he tatted all these legends. But
Hmm.
the minute he said those names, my project immediately skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And it's that work that you own. And when you win an award, you win an award by your work. So that automatically puts you on another level. So it's very important to own your work.
Dude, I, good job, baby boy. Good job. High five. Yeah, want to take it off? Okay, thank you. Yeah, man. This ownership is important, and it does seem once you get people who are legitimate in the game or they have some sort of credibility, it significantly will elevate you or your platform or whatever it is that you're doing. And I think, right, when I look at your body of work, first of all, the quality is solid. I went as far back as what my math is not math right now. 15 years ago, looking at your YouTube and looking at the stuff that you would talk about, and you always, at least from then, from that first YouTube video, up throughout just throughout your history on the internet of what's posted on your channel, you just seemed comfortable with being in front of the camera. Even if you weren't, it didn't seem that way. You were real comfortable with talking. You built a relationship early on with the camera. Even if no one was watching it at the time, I'm sure they were,
Right.
but even if they weren't, you kept going. You never stopped. Even when you were doing exterminator work, man, you just never stopped. That's to be commended. And it's so important for people to take, if they don't take anything else away from this interview with you, they should know this. And that is to, if you have a vision for yourself, no matter who is in your way, you might have family who might not agree with it. You might have friends who don't agree with it, coworkers, whatever. But if you believe in the vision, you got to do it. You got to take the shot because life is so short, man. I'm going to look at this video in some time, right? Maybe a year from now, God willing, right? And hear where we are currently, both excelling, both doing great things, man. And then come back and be like, dang, man, I remember having this conversation with the homie and just look at how far we continue to climb, man. Like, man, I can't say enough good things about you, man. I'll ask
Thank
you
you,
one
brother.
more
Thank you.
question. Yeah. I'll ask you one more question, and I'll let you on your way. I'll probably talk to you for a couple of minutes after the recording, but but last question, man. And I know you have a child. You understand what the importance is of like establishing something for your daughter, right? Daughter?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. I want to make sure for your daughter, and fathers around the world or parents around the world who are actively in their child's or children's lives, they want to make sure that they set them up for success, whatever that looks like. And not just for your child, but for the whole next generation of people who want to do what you're doing. It's admirable, man, and it's honestly it's really inspirational to sit back and then see it on the outside, and see other people doing their thing and really making a difference in the community for good. Out there making work, putting things out there, it's for good. It's for good. I don't care what people say about whatever the work is that you out there putting out work for the community, for minorities, for people in the culture. And a lot of our minorities, we don't get opportunities like that, regardless of how it looks, regardless of what the picture looks like, don't get it as much. So we have to go in and shatter that glass ourselves and create something. And then that's what gives people these opportunities. But for you, what would you say to anyone, minority or not minority, man, like anyone who has a vision, an idea of wanting to do something, but they're really afraid? What do you suggest they do?
Wow. That's a heavy question.
Yeah.
That's a very heavy question. I would advise them to start studying their craft,
Mhm.
whatever it is they're trying to do. Study the craft. If you're trying to be a comedian, study Dave Chappelle, study, Eddie Murphy, whatever, and just study your craft. Another thing I will tell them is try to create your own table. Don't always try to be a part of someone else's table. And because when you create your own table, you get to call your own shots and you get to create your own situation. And that's what I did. I took time to create my own table. I created my own project. I won an award for my project. Then I went to Lincoln Center and I slowly started building my foundation because I bet on me. I didn't wait for anybody else. And another thing is a lot of people listen to outside influences. And that's another thing that puts people not to do what they want to do because other people are putting their fears on you. You failed. That doesn't mean I'm going to fail.
Mhm.
You didn't make it. What makes you think, well, I'm not going to make it too? No, that's your situation. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's timeline is different.
Mhm.
So whoever's listening to this, if you want to go for what you believe in, study your craft, build your own table, start creating content for whatever it is you're trying to do. Create content, get good at it, network and relationships. Go out there, mix, mingle, talk to people. Your energy is going to help you get there. Because if you're not confident, people can smell it. If someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, Gil, I'm trying to do this gala. It's going to be 1,000 people there. You think you can handle that?" And I'm just like, I think I can. Immediately, that's a no because my energy's not there. But if I'm confident and I say, "Of course, I've done many galas. 1,000 people, that's nothing. I've done, 1,000. That's it. Oh wow, this is the guy." Your energy, your confidence, it goes
Mhm.
a long way. Certain people don't know how to do anything, but their
Mhm.
confidence gets them in so many rooms.
Yeah.
Can you ride a horse? Yeah, of course I can ride a horse. I can ride many horses. Just one horse? Yeah,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? Of course. You know, but so your confidence is gonna help you get there. Tom Cruise, before he got on, he was his own agent. That's how confident he was. Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm Tom Cruise's agent. Oh yeah, yeah, you know, listen, we need that interview, baby. We need that interview. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He could do the role, of course. Listen, baby, 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 baby. We got to get in that meeting. Yes, yes, he'll be there. He was his own he was his own agent.
That's awesome.
Quentin Tarantino, they asked Quentin Tarantino, you know, how do you do all, you know, how do you make a film? How do you, you know, do all these effects and stuff like that? And Quentin Tarantino said, I don't know how to do everything. I hire the people that know how to do everything. You have a team. You don't
Yep.
do everything by yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing. 5, have a team. Get
Mm-hmm.
a team of people that see your vision. Get a team of people that see your vision. That is what I would tell someone who's trying to get to that next level. It's going to take time, but
Mm-hmm.
with those things in place and try, don't
Mm-hmm.
be afraid. I believe a lot of us on this planet are meant to do something. We're meant to do something. We just don't take the time to pursue it. Mine is film. You know, yours is interviews. You know, I've met people that are hilariously funny, but they were,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're mopping floors. And I told them, listen, man, you're naturally funny. Why don't you try to pursue comedy? Oh nah, man, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. And people just, I've met some really talented people,
Mm-hmm.
and they just don't pursue,
Yeah.
and they don't take the time.
Gotta,
So that's
gotta
my
take, man. Dude, I got the chills, man. Yeah, I got the goosebumps for sure on that one. That is, dang, man, that was good. that was good. Yeah, this is a man right here, Gil Rios, who has been through some things, who has been at the bottom, has climbed his way all the way to the top, in his respective career, and has seen many people come and go in the game, and has received a ton of knowledge on his way up the ladder and as it continues to climb. And that's the biggest thing I want people to take away. At any point, this can all be it can be done. But knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, man. I was talking to Robin Thicke, and one of the things I talked to Robin about once we were done recording was, hey man, what's some wisdom you can give me, right? Like, we did the show, cool, but what's some wisdom you can give me that I can hold on to, that I'm going to share with other people that I talk to? And it was knowledge, man. He like, the internet is it can be your best friend or it could be your enemy. But whatever you seek knowledge and use the internet to seek that knowledge. It's an endless pool of what you want. You can really control much of anything if you have knowledge of it and resources. But it first starts with the knowledge. You can work for somebody and they just have the money, but they don't know what they're doing. Much to Quentin Tarantino's point, like, I don't really know how to do that. I don't know how to be a DP. I don't know how to be a cinematographer, but I can hire people and tell them what my vision is and get that. So it's that point, man. Just seek knowledge. I really love what you were talking about, man, and I really appreciate you coming on board. And again, Jose, man, thank you so much for connecting us. Gil,
It's my
man,
brother,
I'm looking
man.
forward to this. Yeah, thank you. So, any closing remarks before I let you roll out?
Yeah. Um, Another thing I would say is, I want to say 2 things.
Yeah.
When you're trying to build a career, any major accolade that you get, you have to put it so the world can see it. You just interviewed Robin Thicke, a famous singer. I would put that in my Instagram immediately. Immediately. What you do, I'm an interviewer. I interview people, accolades. Robin Thicke. Even if it's just one accolade, Robin Thicke. Any other people that you interviewed that are famous, the next person, Robin Thicke, and now this person. A third person, Robin Thicke, pa-pa-pum, pa-pa-pum. So now when people see your Instagram, oh, wow, he interviewed these people? Damn. People need to see your resume. People need to see that you can do it at a high level. And when they ask you, create a pitch deck. Anybody out there, if you don't know what a pitch deck is a PDF or slideshow of what you do. Create a pitch deck. My name is so-and-so. I have a show. This is what my show is about. This is why I created this show. These are the people I interview. This is why I'm doing it. Have a pitch deck. So when you have that, you can push it around and maybe doors can open because you have a body of work and information that people can see of what you do. And that means you're prepared and you're serious. A lot of people aren't serious. They just do it as a hobby or whatever. But when the more prepared you are, you'll be fine. Those are my 2 cents.
Man, thank you so much for that. A pitch deck. Yeah, no, I'm gonna take your word. I was on my phone, like doing what you were saying as you were doing. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let me do that because one thing I had on there was just a picture of it, but I'm gonna actually put the video on there and do some rehash and redesign on that thing, man. Man, Gil, thank you so much, dude, for just coming by and for sharing your knowledge, for sharing your story, and for just being vulnerable with me for these last 45 to 47 minutes, man. And dude, I'm looking forward to what you're going to work on in the future. Looking forward to collaborating with you. And again, if your offer is still on the table for us to collaborate with me coming onto your show, I'd love for that. And also,
let's make it happen.
If you want, please plug your show too, man.
So I have a podcast that I did. It's 10 episodes. And I'm pretty much going through my experiences, what I've been through, situations I've been in, just being vulnerable. And, you know, going through some of the lows I've had in my life and just putting it out there so that people don't make the same mistakes I did. It's 10 episodes. It's coming out in about 2 weeks. All 10 episodes are already shot. They're already done. All I got to do is post them and schedule them. So that's what I got coming out. So my Instagram is Gil Rios 1, GILRIOS, the number 1.
Yep, that's perfect, man. I'll be sure that I'll link his information in the bio of this as well, so you all can go ahead and hop over to his channel. Please feel free to subscribe to his channel or follow him. Go to his website, which is gilrios1.com. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So same as his social media handle, just .com. Check out his work. He does amazing work for not just the community, but he's an amazing creator. And it's meaningful work. Yeah, meaningful work, man. And all the more success to you. Continued success for your family, man. Wishing you nothing but love for you, brother.
Same here for you, man. Same here for you. You're about to embark in a difficult journey. Believe in yourself. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable, and don't worry about the negativity, man. It's all fear. It's all fear. It's all fear.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you so much. I will remember those words, man. And hey, on that note, I hope you all have a wonderful remainder of your day. Thank you all again for taking some time out of your day to tune into today's episode. You're live with Osiris and Gil Rios, and we will catch you next time. Take care.